Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Omar Miller about the last days of Ptolemy Grey, which is coming to Apple TV Plus March 11th. Welcome to the show, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be seen. Popternative. What's happening, man? I heard we're years in the making on this interview.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. You know, Twitter DMs, the Ballers days, like, hey, Charles from Ballers, got to do the interview.
You see that?
It's so crazy. No, but you've been doing some amazing things. I'm so happy and excited for you and the cast crew for this project and everything. This project for Samuel Jackson as well has been a long time in the making. Like he's had this idea and been working on this project for a long time. Has it hit you that it's finally coming on Apple TV Plus?
You know what? When they released the trailer, I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
And there's a funny thing you do as actors because you have to jump in and out of other people's skin, basically. So what you have to do is you do your project, you leave it, you let other people do their job on the project, which is to edit it, color it, make it right, and get it out. So I've done my piece on the project. You know what I mean? And so now it's like a reminder when I see the trailer and I'm like, oh, I watched the trailer like everybody else who saw it was like, oh, this looks good. Like outside of myself being in it, I watched it and I was like, wow, this is hot.
And the art of the trailer is so amazing, Omar, because it's like you have kind of what sometimes like the teasers are a little are shorter, but like you have 2 to 3 minutes to kind of be like, okay, what are you going to show the audience for the first time, right? Like,
yes. And this one is chunky. It's a chunky 2 or 3 minutes that it's a real tease that makes you want to figure out what's going on because of the proposition.
Yep.
The proposition of would you trade a time period to get your lifetime of memories back. Yep. And the project was personal for Sam and for a lot of people involved because a lot of us have dealt with dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yep.
And, you know, it's such a violent illness in a way because of what it takes from us. And, you know, watching someone you care or love disappear from you is just... It's really hard. It's really hard.
And so the trailer really hits hard with that too, right? Like right out the gate, right? Like it doesn't waste time. Yeah.
Nah, man. Then no, punch you right in the mouth. Then this is the main theme of the show. Yep. And so if there's a link, obviously you're gonna want to see Samuel L. Jackson, what he's doing next, and my man Walton Goggins is in it, and Dominique Fishback and Damon Gupton, and you want to see all these people. But the theme, if you know anybody or if you have experienced this in your family, it's something that you'll definitely want to see.
Oh, 100%. Is it I mean, this is not your first time. You worked on some amazing TV shows and you do press days and everything. Do you still find it kind of hard or a weird experience to kind of do interviews like before it's actually out because like of spoilers and everything? But you know what to say and what not to say. But I always feel like it's a weird situation. Like you worked on it. I got screeners for it. We could talk like a little bit, but it's weird. It's still weird. I feel like to do like interviews before a thing is like out there.
It's weird to do it before and it's weird to do it after.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about, I think this is a big thing in society now that people are chasing with TikTok and social media and so on and so forth. There's nothing normal about fame or celebrity.
Yeah.
There's nothing normal about people recognizing you, about losing anonymity. Yeah. So with that, the concept of interviews and blah, blah, blah is also a little bit bizarre. The reason I think what I tie to and the thing that I think is cool about it is we get to talk about what the project covers.
Yes.
It allows us to talk about deeper stuff like what has dementia robbed from you personally?
Yeah. No,
I had one of my best friends. I used to sleep on his parents' floor. He lost his father to Alzheimer's and dementia. And his father didn't even know who he was by the end of his life. And he had to let him go in that sense. This was traumatic.
Yeah.
We had heartfelt conversations about this and so on and so forth. And so when you have a project that tackles something that's not just sheer entertainment, there's time for entertainment as well. But this, as if you watch some of the screeners, this tackles something a bit deeper.
Yeah.
And there's nobody better equipped than Samuel L. Jackson, who is obviously a brilliant actor, but also has dealt with this experience in his real life, close as you can get.
And to add to that, I'm sure there's a lot out there like in the past, but except from like this project and like the father of Anthony Hopkins, I mean, there hasn't been that many projects on top of my head that have like tackled the dementia, basically.
I think that it's a tricky nut to crack.
Yeah.
Because for one, it's heavy. And anybody who's been through it doesn't want to relive it in a way that's, that brings people down.
100%. Yep.
And so I think that then presents a series of challenges. And I think that this film, especially the book, I suggest people read the book before they watch the movie, before they watch the series. But I think that this piece has figured out a way to blend the realities and the harsh realities of this sick disease, plus the hope and opportunity and potential of what science and medicine is doing, and what a little bit of faith can do, and what a little bit of alternative treatments can potentially do, and some of that what if. And that hope and that optimism of a what if is what keeps us all going to a certain degree. It's
a pretty exciting feeling too, where this project is coming out, and not only is it like you watch a trailer of it, Omar, and it's like, oh, it looks great. You know what I mean? It's there's a lot happening, but it's interesting too. Like, you're a storyteller, like that's what you do. But you're working on, not only are you working on a show that it's a great show, it's an important show. Like, you get to work on that's just kind of an added layer to it, right? The whole point of what you do is to entertain people, provide them with escapism. But this show as well, The Last Days of Ptolemy Grey, is like one of the most important shows we're going to see in 2022, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. If we did it right, it sure will be.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me, I try to pick projects. I've been in the game for a long time now, and I have grown and evolved in my career so I can do a better job at picking and choosing my roles. Yep. And I try to do stuff that matters, and for me, I had one of my siblings suffered from epilepsy, and it also it took pieces of his brain away before that it took his actual life. Yeah. So to have something that represented anything near that spectrum was super important to me. And it's that tie that when you get these kind of ties, those kind of things make you say, wow, what I'm doing, it could help somebody else that's dealing with this right now. Yeah. And it's a big deal. I've only had a few times like that in my career where I feel like, oh man, this can help. I did a film called Things We Lost in the Fire with Benicio del Toro and Halle Berry. Yep. And it was about loss and grief. And I've had countless people come up to me to tell me how that film helped them, because it just showed and expressed what it is that you go through during loss and grief. And sometimes you just need that reflection. And seeing that what you're going through mirrored on screen can help you cope if you don't know how to express yourself. But you don't know how to get it out.
You worked on another project with Walton recently too, right?
Oh man, that's my guy.
But you worked
we worked on the Unicorn.
The Unicorn, but again, that show too had. Yeah, but that show
it was huge.
But that show had tough subject matter too.
It was huge. I mean, he plays a widower.
Yeah.
He plays somebody who's trying to put the pieces of his life back together after losing the most important person in his life. So it's like, this is what I'm saying. I'm at a point in my career where I'm trying to do stuff that has a deeper, meaning beyond just the entertainment. Sometimes there's a place for that, and it's fun and it's good.
To add to that,
I love
too,
going
though,
to the movies.
To add to that too, like Ballers, if you put all your projects like in a layer in terms of the ones that are like the most hard hitting, obviously like Ptolemy Grey, the Unicorn. I mean, Ballers was very entertaining and everything, but Charles Green's storyline, though, I'm telling you, is a realistic one, right?
I agree, and this is also one of the reasons why I wanted to be involved in that, and then why there was actually a lot of hemming and hawing that went behind the scenes on the storyline. Yeah, because I wanted mine to be the most authentic and grounded that it could be. Yeah. Very few people can identify with letting their friend borrow $5 million or this, that, and the other. Everybody can identify with losing their way in life and trying to figure out what the next step is.
And
going through
unwillingly having
transition.
to kind of give it up. Like, you can't play anymore.
Your body won't let you do it.
Yeah.
And so and that can be applied to whatever your life struggle is.
Yep.
And so I loved that about what they allowed me to do on Ballers.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Sometimes it's the project, sometimes it's pieces within the project that allow you to get something like that off.
I'm just such a good guy. You man, you hit it out of the park with that one. Like, I was talking about
you really felt that one.
Well, man, because I've interviewed a lot of your cast. Like, I interviewed London Brown, who just Reggie just drove me nuts in that show. Like, but that's his job, right? Like, that was his role, right? Like, isn't that
his role?
That's his role. And then
he meant well.
Yeah,
he meant well. He just couldn't get out of his own way. And oftentimes, just
did he mean well? Are we gonna go into like?
Oh, he meant well. He meant well. You think that he didn't have Byrne's best interest in mind? He meant well. He just didn't necessarily know what he didn't know. This is why when you know better, you do better.
See, this is what happens when, like, I interview someone who's like on one of the shows that I was like really into.
And that's okay. Other people still talk. People talk to me about the show every day when I'm in public.
No, but I don't know if I agree with you about Reggie's best interest. I feel like he did have a little bit, but like he got really into it sometimes. It was like very focused on like making sure he was not cut out too. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Of course. But this is, and that shows the human side.
But what if there was? But again, you just said. Okay, but here's the only other thing though is, what if it was in Byrne's best interest for Reggie to kind of like get cut out of a deal? Would Reggie
listen? then Byrne, being the good guy that he was, would look out for Reggie in another way.
Is it amazing that you're able to, like, you worked on shows that like don't have a shelf life in terms of the conversations you can have about them? It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's the best. And with a show like Ballers, it's somewhat evergreen because you look at the NFL dealing with the racist allegation lawsuit from Brian Flores.
Yep.
And a variety of other people. You know, you have a situation where there was a lot of foreshadowing and seemingly prophetic stuff that happened on Ballers.
Yep.
You had Charles that ended up getting screwed out of a job that he then got an opportunity to become the GM, which then took him down a journey where it gave him heart attacks and messed with his health. And he gave it all up for what was worth more to him. Yeah. So it's a really... It's great to have that. A lot of people still talk to me about Miracle at St. Anna, the film I did with Spike Lee.
Yep, absolutely. And then before we wrap up quickly,
and I think Ptolemy Grey is going to be one of those.
Yeah, it's Ptolemy Grey is great. You're great in it as well. And then before we started, we have to bring it up. I mean, it's so timely. I mean, the halftime show at the Super Bowl. I mean, Lose Yourself, one of the greatest songs of all time, one of the greatest songs in a movie of all time. You were in that movie, 8 Mile. You said before we started that movie changed your life, which is amazing. What were your thoughts kind of seeing that? Did that just bring back memories, just left, right, and center?
Oh man, it was a full circle moment for me because I was at the Super Bowl with my brother, and I remember being in Detroit filming the movie for.
So you were there? You were at the Super Bowl?
I was at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay,
and when hearing the guitar strike when to start it, I knew exactly what it was because I remember when he played it for us after he had made the song. Yep. He played it for us. He's like, "Hey guys, I think I got it," and he called us all to his trailer, and you just heard, and it was like, "Whoa, what is this?" So it was kind of cool to be on the inside of that, and then I had a crazy moment because. They did the thing where they were showing various celebrities at the game. Yeah. And M was on stage. They showed Jennifer Lopez, who I did Shall We Dance with. 50 was a surprise guest who I did Get Rich or Die Trying with. Dwayne started the Super Bowl, who obviously I did Ballers with. There was, who else was in the crowd? It was just so many people that I had worked with.
It became the Omar Bowl. It became the Omar Bowl for a second.
It was a 1 degree of separation. I was right in the middle. It was wild. It was a wild experience.
Obviously, you go where the opportunities go. You go where you work on a lot of different projects. It's pretty cool that you look at a lot of the projects that you just named right there, talking about it. So different, right? Like,
I set out for that.
So that was my question. Does that just happen, or do you set out for that?
No.
Yeah.
No, not for me. I mean, nobody writes a bunch of roles for the 6'6", 300-pound black man.
Yeah.
It's, Steve Levinson wrote one for me named Charles Green in Ballers, but he's about the only one because, to be honest, the other roles aren't written for that, and you have to figure out a way to convince people that you can do this. And I've been blessed and been able to convince the people who make these films and television shows to give me a shot. And for the most part, based on the response, it seems like it's going pretty well.
Absolutely. Omar, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Pop Turnative chatting. It was great chatting with you, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, baby.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
thanks
for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Last Days of Ptolemy Grey on Apple TV Plus March 11th, so they can look out for that. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
You know what? I probably use my Twitter more than anything. You can it's just my name, Omar Miller. I'm also on Instagram at Omar Benson Miller. And I'm going to start posting more. I'm busy in real life, so I never really got too deep into the social like I should have. But check me out. I usually got something interesting to say. Get online and argue with me.
For sure. Well, this is about Reggie on Ballers. Well, this has been Pop Turnative. YouTube.com/PopTurn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Omar Miller, who you're going to be able to catch in the last days of Ptolemy Grey, March 11th on Apple TV Plus, and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Turnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Pop Turnative on YouTube. Be sure to like Pop Turnative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.